Welcome, everybody. World Series Game 2 post-game. The final judgment here. Tony, Jigsaw, Cutillo. And we're back. Listen, last night, little different energy last night, right? Last night, we were on cloud nine. We were on top of the world. You know, people were talking sweet. People were talking 4 games. Listen, and I get it. You know, Zach Wheeler, your ace is on the mound, and you expect a little more. A little different vibe tonight. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to dissect. You know, I don't want to get completely into. I know we're going to talk about it. Everybody's going to bring up the whole the cheating thing, and I think that's something that has to be discussed. Obviously, that's not why we lost. I started out there right now. We did not lose. You see the title of the show. The Phillies bats go silent in Houston. And we've talked about this before, right? We've talked about it before. We've talked about that sooner or later when the offense doesn't show up, that we're going to have a problem. And it's just what happened tonight. Listen, no matter what, okay, until, you know, that Bregman home run, it didn't really matter. Until the Bregman home run, you know, 3 runs by Wheeler at that first inning, the game was still in reach. It still was within reach. And, you know, there's so many things. I mean, let's just, again, if you're checking in, let me know how you feel. Let me, you know, I want to understand if I saw some of the same things you guys have seen. Okay. I want to hear what you guys think going forward. I want to hear what you think about this game, because again, you know, it is a split. And if anybody coming into the series said, if we could split 2 games in Houston, you know, that's what we want to do, 1-1. I still say Phillies in 6. I'll continue to say Phillies in 6. But I just don't like the way the game unfolded tonight. There were a lot of things tonight. The way they unfolded, it just was weird. Okay, you know, right off the bat. Okay, right off the bat, the first 3 pitches, 3 doubles. I don't know. It just felt weird. Right off the sudden, felt weird. Wheeler felt off to me. Wheeler felt like he was missing his spots. Obviously, velocity was down in the beginning. He wasn't maximizing the fastball, which was kind of odd. I never saw him throw so many off-speed pitches, which, again, you heard Smoltz, and I'm not trying to steal his thunder, but I think we all know that, you know, again, that the way that these pitchers work, if they go in with a game plan and something's not working, they pivot. And I think, you know, Wheeler got a little stunned. He's shocked, right? He got shocked after that first inning, and I think things happen. Harry checking in. Defense lapses, yes. Right off the first inning. Listen, I will say that Sosa has to make a better throw, and I think Sosa will do that. But again, honestly, a real first baseman makes that play. You know, was it a difference in the game? Momentum swing? Maybe it was, right? Maybe it was. I don't know. But, you know, we have to look at all angles, right? We have to look at all angles. I'm laughing. I'll get into the comments. Alan says, how about that video of the pitcher using a substance on his hands? We're talking about Framber Valdez. Again, it's speculative, right? Let's not just say he was using something. It's speculative. Now, I will say, kind of odd, right? It's definitely kind of odd that, that if you go back to the timeline, and if anybody here is on Twitter and you go through the timeline of when it came out, you know, what you have to say is, why did he change his glove? Right? Why did he change the glove? I don't know. Like, again, unfortunately, here's the thing. It's something we can't control. It's something we can't control. I'm more infuriated about the whole illegal bat from Martin Maldonado the night before. Like, it was just talked about like it's okay. Like, what, not just for us, but what if last night Maldonado came in and hit like 2 home runs? Do they automatically go away? Like, do they just stay there, just nonchalant? Again, I'm more mad. How about this one? How about this one? I asked this question, nobody can answer. Isn't there a time limit about when you can challenge plays? I mean, listen, all that play with Sosa at second base, it was a long time before Dusty Baker decided to get his old ass out of the pen and come in and say, hey, let's challenge that. I thought you only had like a minute or two. There was like 5 minutes that went by. And that was a huge game changer. That got Wheeler off his game. He came in and he lets off a home run to Bregman. So that was a huge disadvantage. Harry says, the Fox announcers are infuriating. I don't know. Harry, honestly, I do like John Smoltz. I think it's because, what they're trying to do is they're continually trying to prop up each team at different spots. And I think they do go overboard with the Houston Astros, in my opinion. So I can see what you're talking about with that. I really like John Smoltz. Adam says, I slowed down that Schwarber home run and it was fair. Adam, it was foul. It was foul. It looked fair because of the signage, but it was foul if you look at it from the other angle. It really was. Unfortunately, it was foul, and he almost hit another one right to that. Rich says they swung too many balls. The pitcher threw only 9 strikes on all speed pitches, 27 balls. They were free swinging tonight, 100%. Free swinging tonight. And again, we talked about that. That would be a problem, right? Eventually, that would be a problem. We can't win every game. I wish we could, right? These games are going to happen, but I have some positives we'll talk about in a minute. Let's get to some of the comments. Jim says how we could not hear Smoltz. The guy never stops talking. Listen, McDahlia, thanks for coming back. And she says it's okay. Listen, I agree. It is okay. She says it's okay. We're still going to get them. Go Phillies. I still agree. But I still agree, McDahlia. I say 100% that this is Phillies in 6. I'm not getting off that train. Unfortunately, we're going to have to win it in Houston. That's okay. I still say Phillies in 6. You still come back. This game's going 6 to 7 games. It always was going to go 6 or 7 games. Adam, I hope you're right. I would love to see you say Phillies at 5, but I just don't see us winning 3 games when one of them is going to be a bullpen game. Let's remember that. Leonard checking in says the Phillies haven't won any game 2 since the wild card, so it's what I expected. Again, I agree with that, right? I did not expect the Phillies to go in and win 2 games in Houston. What I did expect, though, is I thought they would lose game 1 and win game 2. And I was sadly mistaken, right? Either way, it's 1-1. Okay, it's 1-1. Brand new series. It's okay. It's brand new series. You gave Houston some life. They need to do that. Listen, they need to do that. Okay, it is what it is. And we live to fight another day, right? We live to fight another day. As always, listen, if you're checking on the YouTube for the first time, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We do this all the time at these Phillies games. It's been great. Whether you're a Houston Astros fan, whether you're a Phillies fan, bring it in, bring all the opinions. Let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about it. I want to hear everybody's opinions, man. I don't throw anybody off. This is all about one whole voice here, which I love. Harry says, also 57 degrees and the pitcher sweating like a pig. I'll tell you, man, it is odd. It is odd. There was a lot of odd things that happened in this game, Harry. A lot of odd things. I can't explain it. I really can't. Is it Ranger on Monday? So as far as I know, before this game, Tom said he would reevaluate, but I'm pretty sure it probably will be Ranger Suarez. And again, the biggest X factor is going to be the crowd, right? I think we know that. It's going to be the crowd. It's going to be a rocking Citizens Bank Park. It's what we wanted, okay? It's what we need. We have these 3 games at home, okay? So you're going to get another Aaron Nola game, and then you're probably going to get another Zach Wheeler game. It may possibly, right? Or I should say Zach Wheeler is probably going to be game 6. right? You're going to get a bullpen game in game 4, which is going to then go to Nola in game 5, okay, which is then going to go, if they go 6, which I think that they will, it's going to be Wheeler to redeem himself in Houston. So it should be interesting to see how it plays out. But let's get to some positive things, right? We have to talk about positive. Instead of talking about all the negative, let's talk about the positive. I don't have this up on my screen. Okay, I have it on my phone. I was screenshotting as we go on because I want to get you guys as much as I could, right? So this is coming from The Good Fight on Twitter, at The Good Fight. Great site. Check them out. Andrew Bellotti, Connor Brogdon, and Brad Hand, who was normally garbage, combined tonight. 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 runs, 0 walks, 3 strikeouts. And Connor Brogdon struck out my man Jordan Alvarez. I mean, listen, if you could strike out Alvarez, I'm telling you, that's a win in my book. Okay, so Bob Wankel from Cross and Broad checks in. Okay, at Bob Wankel CB on Twitter. Phillies pitching through 2 games. Hard to imagine this. This is interesting. Says Nola Wheeler, 9 innings pitched, 12 hits, 9 earned runs, 5 walks, and 8 Ks. That's your 2 aces right there. Horrible. Then the bullpen, 8.2 innings pitched, 5 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 10 Ks. Remarkable. John Clark, my man Johnny Airport, at John Clark, NBC Sports, second and says, Phillies 0-4 with runners in scoring position, have left 6 on base. Okay? We talked about that. Tyrone Johnson from 97.5 The Fanatic, the best show ever, checking in, says, Harper and Real Muto are 1 of 8 tonight. Hard to win with them not hitting. They're human. Game not over, but be back in Philly. They'll be better. And that was before the end of the game. So again, that you have to take some positives out of this, right? And the positives is the bullpen has shown that they can be leaned on and relied on. That's very important. We need that. The never say die attitude of this team, to not waver until the very end. Listen, Alec Bohm to the very end. Kyle Schwarber to the very end. Bryson Stott, tremendous at bat again to get that walk to try to get the inning going. There's so many different things that had happened in that game, okay? Listen, Bryce, you can't get mad, man. You know, he did what he could do. You know, eventually, sometimes you're going to have these games and the other guys to step up. Eventually, everybody went silent at the same time. You heard it, JT, Reese, again, some pretty bad at bats for Reese Hoskins tonight. It won't always be the same. Okay, Rich says Wheeler just didn't have his best stuff. It happens. Let's see how he goes back in his next start, and we'll show those fraud Astro fans who or how to be loud and proud. 100%, right? 100%. Since the bullpen for the Phillies has been stellar, which is what we were just talking about. Okay, if you told me Nola and Wheeler give up 5 each, everyone would have said that's 2 losses. Huge point. That's why it's a win for us being 1-1. Now, again, though, I get it. Like I said, this game played out very strange. It was very weird. Right off the bat, I'm sitting there, I'm like, this just is very, very strange with those 3 leadoff doubles, almost like they knew what was coming in. And listen, the Houston Astros, one thing I will say, okay, don't get mad. Don't get mad. You did this shit to yourself, man. Like, at the end of the day, you did it to yourself. You know, there's several different disagreements with the whole cheating scandal and things of that nature. We get in that for another day. But what I'm saying is, because you did that, you're always going to have these speculations. So don't get mad. Don't get all pissed off. Okay. Don't be popping off. All your Houston people are popping off on Twitter, you know, getting in everybody Philly face about talking about the accusations. Listen, I'm not saying they're true. I'm not saying they're not true. All I'm saying is you did it to yourself. Okay. If you didn't go through the entire year like that, okay, through that World Series, been proven that there were so many things that you did in order to get you an edge that you would not have these speculations. So you got to just own it. You got to just own it. Listen, if I'm the Houston Astros right now, I'm not even listening to it. I'm just saying, you know what? Whatever. Think what you want. We are who we are. Okay. But they're not doing that. They're just playing into it. They got to stop playing into it. It's just, number one, it's annoying. Okay. And number two, it's not warranted. It doesn't matter. Okay. It just doesn't matter. One thing I will say, be careful. Jose Altuve starting to play better. You know, again, Think what you want about Altuve. Call him a cheater, call him whatever you want. The dude is a tremendous hitter. He's a tremendous talent. Whether he's a cheater or not, doesn't matter. I say the same thing about Barry Bonds. One thing is, Jose Altuve wasn't going to go 0 for 30. Okay. He got off tonight, which is something to look at. Something to look at. You have to be careful because if he gets hot, he's a trendsetter. He sets the table. Be very, very careful when we're talking about Jose Altuve in the next few games. Watch those pitches. Okay. Listen, Alvarez hasn't killed us yet. Okay. Alvarez hasn't killed us yet. And you know what? Speaking of Alvarez, he did tag on that play, okay, in the first inning to get the third. Vierling, no matter what they said on the announcements, I thought made a really good play and a good throw. Bo missed it, completely missed it. And shout out to Zach Wheeler, okay, for backing up. Shout out to Zach Wheeler because that could have been a run without even another hit. Okay, so that was huge. You have to exactly. You have to be able to play fundamental baseball. You got to take some good things. Listen, you win some, you lose some, right? You want to win them all, obviously. I get it, but listen, I'm still repping, man. I'm still repping the Phillies show. It is what it is. Okay, so let's start taking some of the positives out of this game. The never say die attitude, like I said, the unwavering ability to just knock everything off. Say, you know what? Nothing bothers me. How about Gene Segura with the ridiculous tag with the throw that wasn't on the money? Speed was there. Accuracy wasn't. He was able to get Altuve out of second base. Huge play, right? Huge play. People aren't going to talk about that because we lost the game, but let's look at that because that's something that we can build upon, right? That's still a momentum shift at that specific juncture to play. There were a lot of plays. Listen, I talked about this before. The baseball gods, they were on Houston's side tonight, right? The baseball gods speak every single game. It's just a matter of who they're speaking for. And the night before, the Houston, the baseball gods, they were talking to the Philadelphia Phillies. Tonight, the baseball gods were talking to the Houston Astros. But I want to know, does this change your opinion going forward? I honestly, sincerely hope that it doesn't because it doesn't change mine. I still think that this is a winning six caliber team. This is a 4-2 series, in my opinion. Does anybody else disagree? Do people still are you? I hope you're not throwing your hat in right now because of this one game. I hope you're not all of a sudden pissed off to because I see a lot of crazy stuff on the timeline, right? There's a lot of crazy stuff on the timeline. People get a little crazy. Rich says Schwarber almost listen, Schwarber just he almost had it, man. He almost had it didn't come through, but that's okay. You saw the never say die mentality, which is absolutely huge, right? Schwarber put a scare in him. Stott had a great at bat. What Bryce and JT will come back next game big time, absolutely. And that's the thing. Like you have to take the positives from this game. I'm not going to scream. I'm not going to yell. This isn't going to be an hour and a half post game tonight. It's going to be like, let's look ahead. What do we have to do? Number one, we have to hit with runners in scoring position. It's something that we just have to do. They've been good. Okay, they've been good, but too many games that we've left more than 5 to 6 to 7 base runners. We've had opportunities, even though we won those games, to break those games open, and unfortunately, we didn't get that job done, and we need to get that job done moving ahead. That's one of the most important things that we have to do. So that's something that we have to look at. The bullpen has to continue to be strong, and one thing about the Houston Astros is they all can hit the baseball, right? They all can hit the baseball. So here's what you're going to have to look at for the next two games, in my opinion. Priority number one is going to be the defense. And the reason why I say that is you're going to face two pitchers, right? Number one, you're going to face Ranger Suarez, a pitcher that doesn't strike out a ton of guys. He pitches to contact most times, right? When he's hitting the corners, he pitches to contact. That's why he's a very good defensive pitcher, okay? Because he knows the ball's going to be hit and he needs to be ready to make plays, okay? The following game, in game 4, what's going to happen, whether it be Noah Syndergaard, whether it be a mix of guys, a host of guys. It's not going to be Bailey Falter because he's not on the roster right now for the postseason. So it's probably going to be Syndergaard, who's going to give you 3 innings, and the rest going to be a bullpen game. Syndergaard, again, pitches to contact. So the most important thing, in my opinion, going forward, okay, number one is going to be defense. The defense is going to have to be stellar in these next two games. There's going to be a lot of balls hit. Whether it be in the infield, in the outfield, doesn't matter. It's going to have to be stellar. Rich says Syndergaard is pitching game 3 range. Oh, there we go. See, breaking news, right? See, this is why I love this, right? Like, I got to give this to my man Rich. Oh, let me see if I can find it. Right, I gotta find it right here because I got it. Rich checking in as always. I love it, man. This is like right off the presses, man. Right off the presses. It's not on here. I thought I had it. I had a breaking news button. And I was going to give that to Rich just so he could get it, man. Just so he could get it because do I have it? Nah, damn. Oh wait, maybe I do. Oh yeah, I do. Ready? Hey, Rich, this is for you. There you go, right there. Breaking news, right? Syndergaard is pitching game 3. Ranger pitching game 4. Rob just said in his press conference. So there you go, right? There you go, Rich. I got you, man. I got you. I'm going to give it to you again. Boom. There you go. Okay. I got you. But yeah, so again, defense priority, number 1. Syndergaard is going to pitch the contact. Okay, he's going to pitch the contact, and you gave the Houston Astros momentum tonight. The bats came alive for them, so they know, excuse me, they know that they can hit the ball. They know they're going to be able to hit Syndergaard. Okay, but again, a big thing in this game, another positive, is you got guys' confidence. 3 guys that you're going to need if you're going to win this World Series. And Andrew Bellotti, you gave him confidence tonight. Brad Hand, who I still think is garbage. Brad Hand is not a guy that I'm going to rely on, in my opinion. He's a garbage guy. It is what it is. He came in, low pressure situation tonight, got the job done, but at least you gave him some confidence, even as a veteran. Okay, I think that's important. One of the biggest guys that you're going to need in the middle of that bullpen is a guy like Connor Brogdon. Okay, Connor Brogdon is going to be the difference of you going to a guy, another starter, so to speak, like a Syndergaard or, like, unfortunately, like a Ranger Suarez. If you can rely on an inning from Connor Brogdon, for every single game going forward, I think it's going to be huge. So I think tonight, watching him get that confidence, and again, a masterful job by Rob, again, from Topper, saying, you know what, we're going to get the confidence, right? So I think that's a huge deal. So given the confidence, you have this going forward. So I think I'm going to take that away. That's going to be very important. You didn't use Sir Anthony Dominguez tonight. You didn't use Eflin. You didn't use Alvarado. You didn't use any of these guys, which is huge. Okay, so you have that formidable threesome that you need to be able to close these games out, which is going to be an integral part of game 3 and obviously of game 4. Rich says Hand is in when they are out just to give them innings exactly. But what I will say, Rich, is at least they got some confidence out of them now. You got some confidence in Brad Hand. And again, one thing, Brad Hand, one batter. Right? One batter. That's actually the most I ever want to see Brad Hand in. And it better not be against Alvarez. But all I'm saying is Brad Hand is one batter. If you can give me one batter, 6 pitches, 5 junk balls, I only want to see one fastball, and a fastball better be on the outside corner of the plate. I'm good. Okay, I'm good with that. So if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. But we need to come to hit. Now, again, this is, can I just say something? Again, number 1, this is the final judgment. If you don't notice the final judgment by now, this is the final judgment. Okay, I am Tony Jigsaw Cutillo. Okay, this is a community that we are forming here. Okay, and again, make sure you're following Win Daily Sports for all your sports betting and obviously DFS needs. Make sure you're following at Heat Ratio Sports for all your local and national talk. And most importantly, make sure you're following right here, the final judgment on YouTube. If you found us on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscription. Make sure you hit the like button. If you're watching on Facebook, please, I had a couple people do it last night. Go to YouTube, put in the search title, say the final judgment with an E, JUDGE. I did that purposely. It's a marketing ploy, but I love it. Okay, put that in there, find it, hit subscribe, And there you go. It'd be greatly appreciated. And as always, by the flagship sponsor of the show, SEObrand.com, the place where all analytics begin. And this is why I love this community. Rich checking in. He's watching the press conference right now. We can't put the press conference on here. Number one, because we would get copyrighted. We would get blocked. Okay, so now we have Rich helping us as like our reporter here for the final judgment. Rich says Harper just said they got the split, and he's excited to get back to Philly with this fan base. They knew, and again, here's the thing. People, please don't take this the wrong way. Don't take this the wrong way. And the reason why I say that is because at the end of the day, Harper's just saying at worst, they got a split. Okay. He's not saying they gave up. Don't say, oh, see, those guys were always thinking they got. No, they were not. They played to the very end. They're the Fightins for a reason. So please, I know a lot of people like to spin words. Don't spin the words. He's saying that, listen, the worst thing they could do, okay, is come out with a split. And at the worst, they came out with a split. So we're already ahead of the game. My man Ronnie Humboldt County comes in and says Wheeler didn't pitch like he did against the Padres. No, he did not. Okay, that was not Wheeler. I knew right away Wheeler didn't have his stuff, and I think you all did too. He wasn't painting the corners. He didn't have that 97, 98, sometimes 99 on the fastball. He was sitting around 93, 94, 95. He was using a lot more sliders and off-speed pitches, more than I would like, more than we're used to. And I think he got shook, man. That first inning shook him. It hit him right in the mouth. He was like, wait a minute. How the hell was all this happening? And I think that's what happened. That's the biggest thing that happened to Zach Wheeler tonight. Roddy says, you like motorcycles. I actually, here's the thing, Roddy. I like motorcycles, but I'm scared to death of motorcycles. How's that? I've never been on a motorcycle, but I will. I always say, like, on my bucket list, again, on my bucket list is I want a three-wheeler. I want a three-wheel motorcycle. Is that honestly? I do. I want a three-wheel motorcycle. I don't feel safe on two wheels, but if I get a three-wheeler, I'm good to go, man. I'd be rocking that all day long, 100%. He says I'm just getting out about subscribe. Oh, all good, man. Absolutely. No, man. If you're subscribed, you're the man. Subscribe, hit that like button, man. Absolutely. We talk all things. Maybe we'll talk about motorcycles one day, man. Absolutely. I have Tri-Glide content too. Listen, I'm open to anything. I'll make sure. Listen, sub for sub, right? If you subscribe to me, again, I'm going to subscribe to you because I want to see what you're all about as well. I like finding new things and understanding new content because, again, it only makes us all smarter. Like, honestly, like I always say that people disregard things all the time. And again, they always say, oh, well, I don't like that. How do you know you don't like that, right? So you give it all a try. Like, I'll give you an idea. He hadn't checked in yet, but we usually have Sato is a professional cornhole player. Okay. He hosts a show called Sato's Corner. He's from Cleveland. Okay. He checks in every now and then. We talk about, I didn't listen because of Sato. I knew that cornhole was being televised, the ACL series on ESPN. I would have never known if it wasn't for Sato. Okay, so again, I'm going to learn about motorcycles now, right? Because Roddy just subscribed. I'm going to go after the show. I'm going to subscribe, and I'm going to watch some content. I'm going to watch some video, and I'm going to learn. Okay, because listen, we live in a unfortunately, don't take this the wrong way to a lot of people, but we live in a dumbed down society where everybody just wants these quick takes all the time and doesn't take the time and energy to focus into certain things that maybe that they aren't familiar with that'll just make them more intelligent, more smarter, makes the whole entire world, it makes smarter, man. Right. Exactly. We got to be there back and forth, man. We got to be there back and forth. We got to open up our minds to different things. And I think that's very important, especially in today's world, right? Especially in today's world. So, Rich, if you hear any other good tidbits, man, let me, if you hear any other good tidbits, let me know from that press conference. Ryan says, who's pitching for the Phillies in game 3? Scary. I know. Everybody's going to jump because of Syndergaard, man. Right? Everybody, I know. Listen, we knew we were going to get it in 3 or 4. We knew we were going to get it in game 3 or 4. We understood that. And, we're getting in game 3 now. So I don't think it's a terrible thing. I don't. The problem is you have to remember that the Houston Astros, they don't do bullpen games because they do go four deep in the rotation. And that's something I think we all understood going in. And I think that's why it's most important that we did get the split. So remember that. I'm still confident in the Philly bats. I'm still confident in the Philly bats that they will come back alive. Again, we scored two runs. We probably could have scored 4 or 5 if we hit with runners in scoring position. It could have been a tie game. You never know where it would have went. It just didn't happen. And we were so close, right? Kyle Schwarber twice, so close. You just never know. Gene Segura, listen, he brought in Castellanos, right, on a sacrifice fly. If he's 2 steps over, that ball is a home run. Right? That ball is a home run. So, again, the baseball gods spoke for the Astros tonight. It's as simple as that. Rich says they want those 2 hot minute takes, not only depth. They don't want no in-depth conversation, Rich. And that's what kills me. Nobody wants in-depth. I give you a quick example. Again, I'm sorry I get off on track, but I know we're talking Phillies postgame, but every now and then it's okay to enlighten people on certain stories. And I like that. I'm a very transparent person here. So, before this, during commercials, my son's 15 years old. He's asking me, Dad, if you don't know, I do a lot of fantasy football work, do a show on Sirius Satellite, co-host a show, the Win Daily Show, do a lot of content for Win Daily Sports, all talking sports betting and fantasy sports. And my son's like, Dad, should I make this trade? Should I make this trade? And I said, I don't know, man. He's like, but Dad, I need to know. And I said, relax. Why do you need to know right now? Like, why don't you do yourself a favor? Instead of me just telling you, I said, what to do. Why don't you start doing some research? Okay, see who these guys are, who you're going to make a trade for. See what their statistics are. See what the trends are. See who they're going to play the next 4 or 5 games. Make sure they're not injured. What are the offensive playbooks look like on both sides of these trade? I mean, do some research. You know what? He wasn't really watching the game. He comes back 15 minutes later. He makes his own objective, right? He makes his own objective, and he comes back and he makes a trade. And I said, see, you learned something, didn't you? You did some research, right? You can't just always have the hot takes. You got to do some research, damn it. Ryan said, amen. Absolutely, man. And he says, me too. It's their destiny. Talk about the Phillies. I agree. He says, I was devastated when my Padres lost, but I'm on the bandwagon now. Say again, there's a Padres, man. We start riding Humboldt County. We start hooking up right after the Padres series, right? And because we welcome everybody, all fans. I don't care who you root for. It's all good, man. I just want to have a great conversation. And again, I gave my, my unbiased opinion of the Padres. I definitely, no disrespect, I said I was much rather would have played the Padres than the Dodgers. I thought we were, it was a more winnable series, obviously. I had my issues with Manny Machado and his cockiness and his selfies in the dugout. Okay, but at the end of the day, that was a great 1-2 punch series, man. It went back and forth. It was a great knockout, back and forth. It was like a 5-round fight, which I loved. It was it was great, man. It was great. Rich says, listen, Noah can go out and get through the lineup once, maybe twice. It's baseball. You never know how people will perform. And again, I think that's it, right? I think that's it. You just don't know. And again, you never know. This is the World Series. Everything's on the line. I'll tell you what, man, I'm going to make a prediction here. I like these predictions, okay? I like these predictions. Actually, shout out to Nick Castellanos, okay, for getting that hit, okay, that took, because I was on Sirius right before that, and they were asking me, Jason says, hey, who should I put the total bases over 1.5 for? Hey, should I put the money on Rhys Hoskins? Should I put it on Alec Boehm? Should I put it on Bryce Harper or Nick Castellanos? I said, put it on Castellanos. He was hitting the ball pretty hard the other night. I think he's locked in. And it took him 2 at-bats, but guess what? The 3rd at-bat, boom, he hits it. So shout out Nick for making me look good. I like that. Rodney says the Padres don't hit. Yeah, you know what the problem is? Honestly, it was because after Machado and after Soto, I mean, other people had to step up, and they didn't always step up, right? Kim didn't step up. Cronenworth didn't step up. Guys in that lineup need to step up. It just didn't happen. Rich says, Nick said Valdez curveball was as nasty as he has seen. See, that's going to be the interesting thing. I did hear one thing that said he was, his spin rate was like 400, which is about 2 times the spin rate of a normal ball. And it makes you definitely think. right? How is he getting that spin on that ball? That was that. I mean, it's something that we will never be able to prove. I think that all the photos are out there with the stuff on his pants and on his hat, on his switching gloves, switching shoes, right? There was a lot of things going on. Okay, a lot of things going on. And I don't think it'll ever be proved, but unfortunately, right? Unfortunately, it's going to be something that's always speculative because of who this team is and what they have been accused of and found guilty of, right? And here's another one. Roddy Bridge, he says, like Musgrove against the Mets. Musgrove was doing the same thing, right? He was doing the same thing. And again, these pitchers are trying to they will try to get an edge. And listen, at the end of the day, this is what I will say. And, my Philly faithful, whether you agree with me or not, this game still was there to be won to the Philadelphia Phillies. If they wanted to win this game, they could have won this game. Simple as that. They left too many runners on. They made too many mistakes. It's simple as that. They could have absolutely won this game 6-5 again. They really could have. It's even with the 5 runs given up, they had the opportunities with the runners in scoring position. They had the opportunities to make those hits at the right time, and they almost did it. Kyle Schwarber almost makes it a 5-3 game, and who knows what would have happened after that. So that's my point. You just never know. You just never know. So again, the Houston Astros, there's a reason why they were the best team in baseball. Okay, you can't go into these series and just automatically assume that they're just going to lay down. Of course, they're not going to lay down. I didn't expect them to lay down. I expected them to come out. I didn't expect them to come out and hit 3 doubles right away, but I did expect them to come out and be who we know they are, right? Dennis Green, they were who we thought they were, right? You remember that old school, right? Dennis Green, big time Hall of Fame head coach, right? I mean, you remember that. That's what Houston Astros did tonight. They played the way Houston Astros do. Now, Ryan says, yep, they'll be back. They'll be back. We're fighting, they'll be back. It's okay. Rich says the old adage is, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Again, it is the truth. You're always trying to get an edge. Pitchers are always trying to get an edge. This is a big stage. It just sucks when it's up against you, right? Ryan says Wheeler settled down, but too late. He did. You know what? Even when he settled down, he was still off. Right? You could still see it wasn't the same Zach Wheeler. It wasn't the same Zach Wheeler. Maybe that extra day of rest didn't do him as well as we thought it would, right? Maybe he just didn't do the job. And you know what? It is what it is, right? We get back on the wagon. We come back out. Listen, tomorrow, if you're in Philadelphia, you got the Eagles, right? You got the Philadelphia Union, right? I mean, you got a lot of teams to be able to cheer for. Okay, so you take the day off, you give your mind a little rest, you come back Monday. It's going to be a raucous crowd right there at Citizens Bank Park. The weather looks fine. It should be interesting. It's not going to be humid, but again, that Kyle Schwarber hit tonight, that is a home run. But I will tell you this, that Jordan Alvarez shot the left field at Citizens Bank Park. That is a home run, right? 100%. Rich says they're definitely left too many money on base tonight. They know what they did wrong. They will come back. This team always has a chance to put up a crooked number at any given moment. True statement. At any given moment. And don't the Houston Astros know this. They 100% know this. That they know they have to stand on the gas. They can't let off the pedal and go to the brakes. They have to keep ramming it in there, man. Ramming it in there. They can't, no Doc Rivers. Relax. I'm not talking about that. Just in case he's listening. Ryan says, hey, maybe the Phillies can rent Darvish for game 4. Yo, the Wizard, Yu Darvish. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. Yu Darvish, 36 years old, still getting it done. Wow. I was always a Yu Darvish guy. 100%. I was always a Yu Darvish guy. The guy that can throw like 8 to 9 pitches at different speeds and different rev rates is just ridiculous. He had some arm problems early on in Texas. I get it. I remember, but he really zoned in there in San Diego. So good for you for getting that Yu Darvish wagon the right way, right? And again, I'm going to make this prediction before we get out of here. It's not 1 a.m. Doc comes on then with the porn. Yeah, Doc shows up with the porn at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, I'm sorry, Doc. That's right. He's a faithful man, right? He's a faithful man. Now, all kidding aside, seriously, look at this is what I'm gonna say. I think the highest velocity on the fastball for Noah Syndergaard this year was docked at, say, 93 to 94, I think was tops. I'm going to tell you something. One thing about Thor is Thor buys into the fans. That play's going to be rocking. Okay. I bet you that he dials it up to 96, 97. And I know everybody's going to say, what is that difference? 2 miles an hour. If he can dial it up 2 to 3 miles an hour on the fastball, Syndergaard will not just go 3 innings. Syndergaard will go 5. Okay, and that will be a huge win for the Philadelphia Phillies. You mark it. You heard it here first. If Noah Syndergaard, and I'm telling you, I'm betting that he will be able to dial up that velocity. Okay, you heard Zach Wheeler say it when they said, "How did you get up to 99? You didn't throw 99 all year, right?" And you remember that. And Zach Wheeler said it was the fans, right? It was the fans, right? Again, right? Rich second says the same thing. It will be up to not with these fans exactly. What? And that's the thing that you have to look at. These are the intangibles that you have to look at. So I'm not worried about Noah Syndergaard taking the mound. Noah Syndergaard's going to take that mound. He's going to make Dave Dombrowski look like a genius. That's what he's going to do. He's going to make Dombro look like a genius. And shout out to Dombro. I forgot about the Marlins. I was always talking about, Boston, and I was always talking about Detroit, but I forgot about the Marlins. So, now this is 4 teams that Dombro's had in the World Series. God bless him, man. What a Hall of Fame executive Dave Dombrowski is. And how lucky we are in Philadelphia to go from one Hall of Fame executive in 2008 in Pat Gillick to go to another Hall of Fame executive, to Dave Dombrowski. And again, I'll say this before. I said this before, and I'll say it again. Baseball guys in the front office win championships. Simple as that. Bean counters never win championships. For all those years in Philadelphia with the Eagles, when we had Joe Banner, the salary cap wizard, what did all that get us? Nothing. It didn't get us a Super Bowl. Okay. It did not get us a Super Bowl. Okay. We need we need baseball minded individuals in this town. Not just this town, every town. If you are a GM in Major League Baseball, you need to be a baseball guy. And if you are a baseball guy, you will make better decisions because they aren't based always about the almighty dollar. They're actually based about direction, about talent, and those intangibles that we always talk about. And those intangibles are going to be Noah Syndergaard going out there and pitching well. Ryan says, I'm getting old. I hope to get to see the Padres win a ring before my time, but I'm not holding my breath. The one thing I will say, man, they made that trade for Soto. Okay. And right now, your team, it's all going to be about Tatis, in my opinion. Right. Does he get welcome back? What's he serving? A 60 game or 60 game suspension, 80 games, whatever it is. So it's all about him. If he can ever come back and clean up his act. I mean, you have a very formidable 1-2-3 punch there with Machado and Soto and Tatis, right? And you have some nice little pieces around there. So Cronenworth's a young guy. So you do have that in your capabilities. So I think that the future is good for the San Diego Padres, even though I don't like them as a team, because of the cockiness. Right now, it is all about Philly. Yes, right now it is. It's all, and rightfully so. They're in the World Series, right? I mean, I said to people all the time. Rich says Schwarber said he pulled that ball a hair and said that they had their chance, they just didn't get it done. And that's the one thing you don't say. And Rich can tell me, right? He knows, and I can say it without even saying the press conference. Right now, these guys aren't even wavering. They're not wavering at all, right? They're still locked in. They're still confident. They're still saying to themselves, "We still got this thing." Right? They're very professional about their approach, and that's what I really love about this team. Very professional. And I'll tell you what, it almost worked, but I thought another great move, and people are going to say, but Thompson put Nick Maton in there at the end of the game. I said he's up there to slap a hit in the left field, maybe get a quick double, and he did, except it was caught. Right? He hit that ball hard. Right, opposite field. He knew that he was going to get late on a fastball, which he did. He was going to get hit opposite field, which he did. Unfortunately, it just went to Bregman, man. It just went to Bregman. He caught the ball. But it was another great move that will go very underrated by Rob Thompson. That could have worked. Rodding says, I never thought the Padres were cocky at all, but the Dodgers. Well, here's what I will tell you. This is what I will say. The one thing that really pissed me off, okay, the only team to do it, was to go in that locker room, or I'm sorry, go in the dugout and start taking pictures of themselves, with the selfies and the Polaroids and posing. Okay, that's what pissed me off. That was a problem to me, because right there you made it childish. Again, it was childish. And it was ridiculous. That's what bothered me. I like this. See, this is why me and Roddy get along. He says Machado doesn't represent the Padres. Take him out of the equation. Okay, then maybe we'll be okay, because I can't stand Manny Machado. My man Thomas checking in. Says going to be a great series. Absolutely, it's going to be a great series. This is what I believe. I'm still going Phillies in 6. Astros will have trouble in Philly, undefeated at home. Absolutely. Okay, absolutely. And again, because they're undefeated at home, that's why I say Phillies in 6, because I think they're gonna have to win a game in Houston to get this done. All right, yes, Riding, trust me. Go back and look at the Phillies. Every time they did something good, Manny Machado came in, gave one of these in front of the camera. They took the phone out. They took a couple snapshots, a couple selfies, and I think somebody had a Polaroid as well. That's what pissed me off. Rich says, no, they don't have their heads down. They take on the manager's personality. They're even keel and calm, and that's what's more important, than anything to me after these losses. 100%. Rich says Machado is the most me guy in baseball, taking selfies in the dugout. Listen, man, I said this before, and I'll say it again. Manny loves Manny. Some players love the sport. Some players just love themselves. Manny Machado loves him some Manny Machado. It's as simple as that. Thomas says, if the Astros win Game 3, I truly think it's going to be extremely difficult for the Phillies to win this series. Yeah, listen, it is a game-by-game series, and I think that's what's so great. You make a good point, because Game 3 is going to be a pivotal game. A pivotal game. Do you hear me? I completely agree. A pivotal game, because I think that not only is it your first game at home, okay, but I'm pretty sure, and I don't think, I don't have statistics on it, but I'm pretty sure Game 3 winner is a huge percentage of who wins the World Series. Ryan says, I honestly felt like Harper was a little cocky, but it could be wrong. Well, here's what I will say. If you follow the page, what you do now, you go back. I did a little short clip, about maybe a minute and a half, and I think Harper was brought out because of Manny Machado. Okay, Bryce Harper a lot of that was because of Manny Machado. You remember the chase, right, between both those guys in free agency at the same time. And I think Bryce Harper took offense to Manny Machado going like this around the base pass when he hit that home run in his hometown, in his home stadium. And I think that's where the cockiness came from. So that's what I think. Joe says, bury the stupid sweep thoughts. Now rebound. Exact. Joe, I couldn't agree more. I said that before, right as we came in. By the way, how'd you make out today, Joe? How'd that tournament go? Let me know. I meant to hit you up on Twitter. But no, seriously, listen, let's remember that I did not expect them to sweep at all. Okay, I said that before. I'll say it again. They were not going to sweep. Okay, they were not going to sweep. Rich says, hey, they lost tonight by 3 runs, and we're 0-7 with runners in scoring position. 1 for 8 was what was it, 1 for 8 tonight, even just at the plate with Bryce and JT. So I mean, I'm good with it, man. I'm good with it. But at least he can back. Yeah, Harper can back it up. Harper can back it up. Harry says, if I see those flicking Burger King crowns, I'm going to puke. I couldn't believe they were wearing Burger King crowns, by the way. Like seriously, what did they do? Did they go to Burger King and buy crowns? Are they really selling crowns? Like, I that's the weirdest thing. I mean, I still like stuff like a complete idiot when I was talking about the fish bowls and not realizing that it's because they're astronauts. I'm an idiot from last night, but I couldn't believe the Burger King crown. Really. Rich says only fools thought they were going to sweep the Astros. Well, a lot of people were on that high, man. They were on that high, Rich. So I don't blame them a little bit if they were just like, they were just getting that blood pumping, but we were realistic a little bit. We knew the real deal. He says, see stuff I don't see. There it is. Yeah. See, so So that's what I was talking about, right? They're little things that just they get in my head, and they're the kind of things that I see. Man, Joe checking in says that was a homer. It grazed the pole. Are you sure? Because when they showed the other angle, it didn't look like that to me. It didn't look like that to me. And again, maybe I'm dead wrong, but I think when they turned it around, because I think they had that writing on the pole or whatever, I did not think of it. But if they did, we got screwed, right? Joe, thanks for checking in. If you found this channel on a whim, or you don't follow this channel, if you subscribe to this channel, we greatly appreciate that like button. We get tremendous content here through the fans, through engagement, different fans, through the shows. We'd love to have you on board. Ryan says, I was born and raised in San Diego, but I live in Northern California now. Land of the Redwoods. I love it, man. Land of the Redwoods. I bet you are a Deadwood series guy too from HBO, weren't you? I bet you were. Thomas says, guys, they're not Burger King crowns. There it is. That's right. It was for King Tucker. King Tucker. That's right. I forgot about that. King Tuck. Remember, I was talking about that last night. They put that on the screen. King Tuck. Unfortunately, King Tucker wasn't a king tonight, but okay. All right. So I understand y'all don't understand nowhere. Hey, listen, it's cool. I didn't know. All right. So I thought they were just wearing them. So let me ask you sometimes, do they actually sell them? Are they selling those crowns there at the stadium? I'm just curious. It was a big time foul ball. Yeah, I think it was foul. I do. David Rosca checking in, my man with the lovely Expo symbol, which I absolutely dig. Philadelphia Phillies will win game 3 and 4 and finish it in game 5. Wow, that's a big bold prediction, Dave. Big bold prediction right there. I hope you're right. I do. I hope you're right. If we can win game 3 and 4 and finish in game 5, that would be tremendous. That would be absolutely tremendous. Rich says, nah, even Schwarber said it was foul. Said he pulled it just a little bit. Yeah, I thought it was foul too. I think, you know what it is? It was hard. The way their foul poles are aligned and the designs they have on them, it was really hard to read. That's what it was. Harry says I knew that. They just look dopey. Harry's killing them tonight, man. Harry's always killing. He's killing the Fox announcers. He's throwing them on the bus. Now he's throwing the King Tucker fans under the bus. He's throwing everybody under the bus. Hey, listen, man. I don't mind the King Tucker thing. I actually think I kind of dig it. The only crown I think looks like an idiot is Howard Eskin's crown. I will say that. Ronnie says, imagine the Eagles and the Phillies. What do you? Well, I'll tell you what, man. That would be a tremendous year. I don't think they'd be able to hold everybody on Broadstream. You saw what Xfinity Live looked like last night. They used to have a limit of how many people they let in. I don't think they had a limit last night. They were just packing them in, man. Think about how much money they made at Xfinity Live, man. If you had like 2,000 people in there, easy, and you're selling $10 drinks, woo, and each are getting about 5 or 6 of those $10 drinks, man, you made a whole year's money all in one night, man. All in one night. You made, yeah, asking Burger King boy. Asking Burger King, yeah, wearing his mink coat. But listen, this is what let's close on this. I think we had a lot of good stuff tonight. We talked about the positives. The negatives tonight were runners in scoring position. Obviously, the negatives, big negative was, Wheeler didn't give us his best stuff. Another negative was the defense. The interior defense within the infield was just, again, not up to speed. That they're the negatives for me that we have to fix. Joe says, I watched the angle change slightly after it passes the pole. I'll tell you, man, either way, unfortunately, hindsight 2020 is nothing we can do about it. It sucks, but it is what it is, man. I'm glad you found it too, man. Right? I'm glad you found the channel too. And as always, everybody find this channel. If you subscribe, I will not disappoint you. That's for damn sure. We have a ton of great stuff on this channel. Ryan says, good night. Yeah, good night to you, my man. Absolutely hope to see you on Monday night after game 3. Halloween, right? Halloween. You never know what's going to happen Halloween. So let's go to the positive. Positives were the bullpen. The bullpen was a positive. Again, Connor Brogdon, great game. Bellotti, great game. Even Brad Hayne got into the show, okay? But the biggest thing is, like I said, I think Brogdon is an X factor, and so is Bellotti. Those two guys you're going to need going forward to carry some innings, and they got tremendous confidence tonight. Another positive was never wavered. They played to the very end. Bryson Stott, tremendous at bat again to draw that walk. Okay. Alec Boehm, never wavered. Schwarber, even though he missed, never wavered. Castellanos, never wavered. As always, that is my thing. They never wavered. They 100% professional, and they continue to keep their heads up. See you Monday. Absolutely. Rich says, great show as always, bro. Can't wait for tomorrow. Football talk. Then Monday, Phillies win after the game. Absolutely. I will tell you this. I am not doing a post game for the Eagles tomorrow, only because Sunday, I'm straight up honest, Sunday is my day. Sunday is a day of rest for me. I coach soccer in the morning. I hang out with my boys all day. We watch football morning, noon, and night, and then I get the work done for my PR company for the rest of the day on Monday to get ready for a big PR week. So that's where I'm at. So, but again, everybody have a great football Sunday. So again, this has been great. The Phillies go down, obviously 5-2. They're into the very end. It is what it is. It's a 1-1 series, different ball game, but now Houston has to come here to Philly, and they have to deal with Citizens Bank Park and all the crazies. We don't have Cameron crazies. We have Bedlam at the bank. Shout out Scott Fransky. So as always, man, everybody checking in, I greatly appreciate it. Checking in, hit that subscription button, hit that like button. Tonight, we go a little bit under an hour. Again, not as much energy. Obviously, a little somber tonight. We didn't get what we expected, but we'll be back. We will be back. Just like the Terminator said, I'll be back. Arnold Schwarzenegger, my man. So as always, like I say, everybody stay safe, stay healthy. And some people have thoughts and some people have takes. But on this show, you get the final judgment.